Come on, my friends. I'm Rick, and this here, of course, is Frankie, the shelter cat, who's getting all nosy, aren't you? Aren't you? He just crying away at the door. Oh, so we're gonna sit down with the. But Daddy's got to do a review of that thing. How can I do that when you're sitting? And somebody else is pushing at the other door. Just got a house full of cats. Yes, yeah. Here, come down here for a minute so Daddy can finish the video. All right. Okay. So I had to go get my glasses too. This is StarDate, and I used to have quite a few of these things. And once again, I have a lot of my stuff went into storage, and it didn't store. It didn't store well, and some morons of my relatives, some relatives who are morons, decided to move things around at my folks' house, and they put some of my stuff out in a barn. And barns are not conducive in Iowa for weather protection on things like this. And so, a majority of my battle technology magazines were trashed. A lot of my StarDates were trashed. My Dragon magazines, what I had of them, exact, and and it was at least one small box of game supplement material that also got destroyed, which I was very upset. And of course, I've complained numerous times about my very large, at one point, very large Ralpartha collection of BattleTech that ended up down in a damn gopher hole. My Star Wars minis survived, and so did a lot of my regular D&D related minis, but my BattleTech collection, a good regiment and a half worth of stuff, is laying in a deep hole underneath that barn that now belongs to other people. Anyway, so hey, someday in the dear distant future, somebody will be excavating back there, whether it'll be somebody's kids or somebody's adult, and they're going to run across these things. What do you think of that? So we're looking at StarDate magazine, and this one came out this was something that came out in the 80s, late 70s, and I like StarDate for a number of reasons, mostly because at the time it was highlighting things that were related to the games that we were playing back then. You know, the Orion Rising, a Star Trek role-playing game adventure, for example. You know, ships of the Star Trek universe. So when we look at these things, you know, I paid a whopping $2 for this back then. I mean, it was just, oh my god. I didn't have a subscription to it, so I would buy them when I was at the local bookstore when I saw them on the shelves. And there's some great stories, advertisements. Of course, here's a FASA for their Star Trek ship recognition manuals. And if you haven't seen those, I did a whole slew of videos on my Star Trek collection and what I have of it. So if you go digging deeper into my channel's stuff, you'll find it. Just look around for them. And Fantastic Treasures. Where are the other company? Right? It's not how you play the game. And we got here. Beyond the Quadrazone as a play-by-mail game. Yes, that was a thing for some of you young folks who don't know that everything's done digitally now with the internet, instantaneously or damn near instantaneously at your fingertips. There was a time when Grandpa and your dad and mom didn't have those luxury items and things we take utterly granted for today. People are dying out there because they can't set that phone down in their car for more than, the 20-minute ride it takes to go for somewhere. And before that, we did everything by snail mail, and this is including playing games. And there was actually quite a selection that ran from sports games to sci-fi fantasy games. I played a few. I tried to run a few too in my day to mixed results. Like anything else, you kind of got to do with what you can and where you can, and so on and so forth. So we got Viet Vets versus Alien Slime. Okay. Here is Star Trek gaming material by Jake Andrew Keith, Orion Rising. Always liked the Orions. I really have always had an affinity for that type of rebellious below the law. And keep in mind that to the Orions, they're not breaking any laws. It's the Federation's idea what laws are and aren't. Of course, there were certain sidebars aside. I'm not too keen on those, but that's because of moralistic standards of the day, and not because anything along them lines. Anyway, what's it like to kill a man? StarDate magazine, your subscription. And let's see, lots of stories. The Amazing Zone of Dr. Hitchcock. Right? Main attraction. I've seen a lot of these movies back in the day. Have mixed feelings on them. I'm not a big fan of the horror movies or dramatic, you know, I don't know, screwball stuff. So anywhere, the care and feeding a shuttlecraft. So we got some various shuttles and travel pods. Most of the ones that are listed here can be found in all of the FASA versions of the Star Trek game universe. Here's the Mackenzie class frigate, affiliation of the Outer Free World's Mutual Defense Force, right? So not all Federation ships are Federation ships. Next, Headroom, the TV show. More ads for FASA. See, this is how you would find out what's going on at FASA. You get a magazine, you get this, and you'd mail this into the company and say, FASA, please send me your current catalog and list of great, wonderful stuff that I may not already own, and I would like to find more of. So here we get some more starships from the Star Trek universe. OSR R2O, another story, some interesting little comic strips and things like that. Star Ace. What's wrong with this picture? Another game system that I don't think, no, I heard about it, I never got into it. Didn't know anybody personally that did either. Killing the Lambs of God. The SETI L. Little creature that's familiar. If you know the Wrath of Khan, you know about these boogers. And that was the one, this would have been out about the time that Wrath of Khan was out. So, I'm just saying, right? Wrath Forward Book 2, The Gaming Magi. So on and so forth. When the multiverse turns topsy-turvy, the Magi must fear for their lives. So, here we go. It's fun or it's free. See? So I had this, and I had this. Did not have these. It is what it is, but West End Games. Right? Gotta love it. Gotta know it. There it is. StarDate. Till next time. Going on, my friends, this is Rick, and hey, if you like the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell your buddies, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell anybody else that's in the gaming industry